My view is now that we have abortion where everybody wanted it from a legal standpoint, the states will determine by vote or legislation or perhaps both, and whatever they decide must be the law of the land, in this case, the law of the state. Many states will be different. Many will have a different number of weeks, or some will have more conservative than others, and that's what they will be. At the end of the day, this is all about the will of the people. You must follow your heart or, in many cases, your religion or your faith.
Man's got skin like the surface of Mars, just cold, dry, pitted by micrometeor impacts and very, very orange. But anyway, after months of teasing his 2024 position on abortion, we now have Donald Trump positioning himself as something that's gonna piss off pretty much everyone. And we will talk about that, don't worry. But while everyone is focusing on what he says in that video, I think what's far more fascinating is what he doesn't say in that video. And we will definitely get to that. But first, if what he says there about just hands off, the states decide seems utterly inconsistent with everything he's been saying recently, that's because it is. If this seems like a cynical ploy to try to win the election, that's because it is. And honestly, he's not even really trying to hide that. He posted this on Truth Social. This was before the video came out, sort of warning people that it was coming out. And he says, blah, blah, abortion, blah, blah, abortion rights, whatever. I believe in exceptions. And ask people in the states that have those exceptions what they're worth.
Rape, incest, and if I am the father.
If I'm the father, great love and compassion must be shown when we are even thinking about the subject of life just for fetuses, not for full-grown humans. But at the same time, we must use common sense in realizing that we have an obligation to the salvation of our nation. He loves rhymes, which is currently in serious decline, to win elections, without which we will have nothing other than failure, death, and destruction. So that is, that's not hiding at all. Like, yeah, life, whatever. We gotta win this thing. And so, look, as we're gonna get into later on, the people for whom this is not just like an election thing, they actually deeply think that there's nothing more important in the world than stopping people from having bodily autonomy, are not gonna like that at all, that position, let alone that he's justifying the position by saying for political expediency. Before we continue with the story, we depend on members to keep on going. Don't wait, click join now on YouTube. And I also just want to acknowledge, he says in that video, and multiple times, now that we have the law exactly where everyone wanted it to be. Yeah, that's how I describe it. Everyone's happy about the state of things following the destruction of Roe v. Wade. Everybody's so happy that you're having to hide your position because you're worried it'll cost you the election, as it has many Republicans over the past couple of years. But before we get an open discussion, I implied that this is contradicting what he said recently, and it very much is. So just last month he said, the number of weeks now, people are agreeing on 15. And I'm thinking in terms of that, and it'll come out to something that's very reasonable. But people are really, even hardliners agreeing, seems to be, 15 weeks seems to be a number that people are agreeing at. No, I don't even know which hardliners he's talking about, but no, not everybody agrees, let alone the hardliners. And he's held this anti-choice position for a really long time. I'll remind you that Chris Matthews, the only good things he's done in the past 20 years is he got Donald Trump to admit in 2016 that there has to be some form of punishment for women who have abortions. Not the doctor, not the nurse, the woman needs to suffer some sort of punishment. But sure, gamble not only your reproductive autonomy, but also possibly your freedom itself on whether Donald Trump is being honest right now. Francesca, what do you make of his announcement?
The fact that he had to put out an announcement shows just how scared he is about abortion costing him his election, and how scared Republicans are generally. If they really were proud of the overturning of Roe v. Wade, the long sought pinnacle of the hard Christian right that Donald Trump made his bed with in 2015 and 2016 in order to win the election, this evangelical right, when he was billed as actually a departure from it, something different, something new. In some ways. No, he had to make his bed with those anti-abortionists and those anti-choicers, and he did. And the fact that he's saying it instead of heralding the overturning of Roe v. Wade, which is what a lot of people like Representative and Speaker Mike Johnson are doing right now, he's hedging. And the fact that he's hedging shows that they are terrified of how much this is costing them in swing states, in red states, how much women are being put on the chopping block here, how much their rights are being put on the chopping block. And let's just also parse what he said. He said it should be left up to the states, but then also individuals, make a choice based on your religion. And you're like, wait, hang on, time out, right there. What you just said, based on your own religion, based on what you feel is right. That's actually not what a state imposing whether or not you can have an abortion would mean. In fact, Roe v. Wade implied that, allowing you to say, all right, for my family, for my religion, I will seek an abortion, or I will not seek an abortion because that's not part of my own personal values. So again, like, they are running scared, they're running in every which direction, and I do think it will cost them, and I damn well hope it does.
Yeah. I think, look, I agree with a lot of what you said. I think you're being slightly unfair. When he said to follow your religious values, he's not talking about the women. They're not real humans. Why would he care or think about them? He's talking about a gaggle of pasty-faced, doughy Republican governors. They should follow their religious values on what they want to do on abortion. So just to be clear, fake news media Francesca. And judges as well. But anyway, you talked about how, he should be crowing about the fact that he killed Roe v. Wade. I will remind everyone, he was doing that up until very, very recently. Here is an example.
If it weren't for me with Roe v. Wade, you wouldn't even be talking about this. You wouldn't be asking that question, because we'd right back.
Yeah, I know. I agree. We probably wouldn't have to be asking these questions if not for him. And he's said that and things like it so many times that it is not going to be hard to put together absolutely devastating campaign ads. Another reason that he should be very worried about this. But here's the main reason that he's worried. It's the raw numbers, it's the polling. So voters oppose, let's see, a 15-week ban by 11 points, which is in direct contrast with the results in 2023 when it had previously been favored, or in 2022 when it was favored by 13 points. By a 12-point margin overall, registered voters think President Joe Biden would better handle the abortion issue over Trump. So again, he wants to pretend that everybody's happy with the legal status, which they're not, obviously. He wants to pretend that they all agree on that number, which they don't, and they actually significantly are less likely to agree with it than they were just a year ago, perhaps because they're so worried about the movement that they've seen on the right to be like, yeah, 15 now, which I'll remind you all, it was 20 like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And now it's gonna be 15, and then it's gonna be 12, and it's already 6 in so many states. How do you not see? Like, this is like Charlie Brown rushing to kick the football, but she already took it away and she's running away, and he's still gonna try to kick it. Like, how do you not see that this is the game they're playing with you? But anyway, we're really fast. Just because people do prefer Biden, I wanna give Biden's comment and then we'll discuss. He said, and he had a lot more to say about this, maybe we'll cover more tomorrow, but he said Trump is scrambling. He's worried that since he's the one responsible for overturning Roe, the voters will hold him accountable in 2024. Well, I have news for Donald. They will, Jack. He didn't do the Jack, I did. But so yeah, he's gonna use this. What do you think?
No, I think that's perfect, and he should. It's something he should absolutely run on. I just want to talk about the polling, which again is, look, in theory, yeah, every life is sacred. But in practice, if you'd believe that, you see the way that women who desperately need abortions for their own reproductive health care because they have an unviable pregnancy, or because they are not even women yet, they're children who are the victims of rape and who have to travel out of state. Like, when you actually put this into practice, it means the death of women. It means treating them like second-class citizens. It means putting your families, again, 60% of people who seek abortion are already parents. It means putting your families at risk. So that number, that shift in polling, can be explained by just seeing in practice, when we take away this right, people die. Hospitals end up determining, and judges end up determining whether or not you have a kid or don't have a kid, or whether you die or whether you don't die. It's just, again, like a lot of Republican ideology, when in practice, you're like, oh yeah, this was actually a bad idea. Sounded good in my own little, multi-million-dollar kitchen as I, breathlessly told, a camera, but now in practice, it's terrible.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Well, look, obviously we don't like his position. I mean, I don't believe it. Like again, like I said in a production meeting this morning, he said in 2016 during a Republican debate that he supports single-payer healthcare. Him saying something is worth nothing. It doesn't matter. We're not this stupid, or at least maybe a narrow majority of us are not this stupid, but we'll see.